please help me welcome back for part two, Dr. Teresa Pangan. We really hit stress management and mindset hard in part one. So if you missed that last week, please go back and listen. And for today, we are going to pick apart. We're going to carry a lot of this thinking over into the nutrition and fitness world and talk about how your mindset can work with the behaviors that you're engaged in and how they can work for you or against you. So welcome back, Teresa.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. And I'm going to hand back over the mic and shush and just kind of, you work with clients, you're a dietitian, you worked in the real world. I want to hear how all of this mindset training and stress management, how does it all work towards your benefit with your clients in the land of health?
One of the hats that I have in my work is I do a culinary nutrition classes, and I teach people about food and how to get inspired in the kitchen for delicious recipes. And one thing I've noticed and through the research is that in order to sustain healthy eating to support your health, there's a mindset that happens. And so I've integrated this into my culinary nutrition classes, and I've seen great success. Our minds have like a massive amount of information that is coming at them. And our minds want to make sense of it. That's how we're programmed. It grapples with the massive amounts and the complexity and the uncertainty of the information. In order to help make meaning out of it for some gaps of things it doesn't know and for some ideas that are kind of complex, maybe even confusing, it creates these mindsets. These are around topics or processes or practices, but they are core assumptions, beliefs, expectations, statements about a topic. So they're not right or wrong. They're just what our brain has drawn conclusions from what we learned in school, what we see in the media, what we see in our culture, from our own development have been imprinted, and then also from trusted individuals in our life. And it kind of depends upon the topic as to who those trusted individuals are. But all these things come together to help our brains make sense of what it's faced with. That's a mindset. When I'm reading this, if you want to listen for clues as to this person's mindset, I was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, August of 2022. My A1C was 6.5. I decided to lose weight and try to lower my A1C. After losing 45 pounds, my A1C was still 6.3. I was very disappointed. Little did I know at that time what it would take to substantially lower my A1C. I attended your diabetes and foundation classes. Those are two culinary classes that I offer. In August of 2023, my A1C was 5.9, and I was no longer taking medications. My weight loss is a side effect of lowering my A1C. I have lost 100 pounds, 34% of my body weight. Went from a size 48 waist to 38. My knees no longer ache going up and down steps. The things I learned in your class that worked for me: great recipes, reading labels. I try to have 3 servings of whole grains each day, portion control, small plates, small bowls, only eat when I'm hungry. I always have healthy food available. If I'm away from home for a few hours, I take food with me. Your classes have made it easy for me to take control of my diabetes and be more healthy overall. For me, the mindset of this individual is a portion of what went into. Now, did they do nothing? No. They did a lot of things. They did very important things. Lindsay and I are like, yes, this is not something for you to follow for you, okay? This is what worked for him plus his mindset. And what we're learning is that mindsets aren't inconsequential, that they add to the equation. They can help or hinder. So in this case, he hit it on the nose. He stopped focusing on weight loss and started focusing on his A1C, his hunger, his satisfaction, delicious recipes. Why don't we go into then the healthy mindset, healthy eating?
Wait one moment, because this is big and I'm trying just not to interrupt, is why I'm sitting quiet for a second, because you've got so much good stuff going on. His mindset, like you said, it is flipping off the scale. Like the scale became a side item that, yes, he was still excited about the weight loss, because I think that a lot of individuals feel like if they claim that they don't care about the scale, then that's no longer an area they're allowed to get like excited about. It's supposed to just go away completely. And that's really not what we're saying. A lot of times, even though I call myself a scale smashing dietitian, I feel like I'm still going to get excited with my clients when they lose weight, or I'm still fighting for weight loss with them. But the goal is to make the scale a side item and all those other fights, decreasing cholesterol, decreasing A1C, decreasing blood pressure. Like if we had a glimpse into our insides more, I think the motivation could get pulled from that scale. If we were all privy to getting our labs drawn every 3 months, where we could be like, cool, my food, my eating habits, my cooking experiences, my eating out less, everything that you're teaching your individuals, you can see it. Man, how much more motivating. I think our problem is that a lot of those we see later, versus the scale can give us a little more direct results. But all right, go on. I just wanted to highlight that.
Oh, no, I love that. And I do want to emphasize that I don't do programs. I don't do diets in my culinary classes. We go over nutrition, but you have to find what works for you to put together your custom lifestyle with the mindset that is going to help you. And there's not one or right or wrong. It's going to be different for each. But we do know some mindsets don't help. And so the study that I'm thinking of it's called a milkshake study. They wanted to find out about mindset, if your mindset about healthy eating affects your physiological outcomes, what happens in your body. For this study, they told subjects that they were evaluating 2 different milkshakes with completely different nutrient profiles that they were trying to make taste the same for all the different metabolic needs in a hospital. So the subjects came in twice. They came in one time and they were given a milkshake that they were told was sensible, was healthy, light, fit, low calorie, and they hooked them up to an IV and they looked at their ghrelin. Ghrelin is known as a hunger and metabolism hormone. There's many others that work also with your hunger and metabolism, but in particular, ghrelin was being looked at. They wanted to know what the response was after having the milkshake. What happens with ghrelin normally in kind of a normal kind of schedule is just before you eat your dinner, your ghrelin levels will be high because your hunger, ideally you want to be hungry for that dinner meal. So your ghrelin is high, you're hungry, and also your metabolism is actually turned down a little bit with the hunger signals that's saying go out and seek food. But just in case we aren't successful with seeking food, we're going to keep the metabolism down until we see evidence. So until you actually eat a meal, and once you eat a meal, a good hearty meal, then your ghrelin levels will drop. Your metabolism will crank back up to burn what you just ate. That's kind of a quick and dirty with ghrelin. So that was one visit. Then the second visit, they were brought in and they tasted a milkshake that they were told it was indulgent and high fat and high calorie. And they looked at the ghrelin response. And here's the thing. The milkshakes were exactly identical. They were about 350 calories. Lindsay, I'm going to put you on the spot. Which do you think they had the biggest drop in ghrelin, with the indulgent high fat milkshake or the sensible low calorie milkshake?
Indulgent. Our drop in ghrelin is when they're nice and full, right? Like the hunger goes away.
Yep.
Yes. Indulgent.
Yes. 3 times more. The ghrelin. They're same milkshake.
Wow.
But our response was completely different based on expectations, mindset, assumptions. So the only thing that was different was what they were told, their mindset. But they had a totally different physiological response. And actually, Aaliyah and the researchers, they actually thought it was going to be the opposite. They thought that you were going to have less hunger after the sensible and low fat and low calorie because you're like looking out for your health, maybe, I don't know. But if we look out for our evolutionarily, we seek out calories. We are programmed to. But the minute you start to deprive, your body says, well, I can deal with that. It's not a big surprise that people struggle with the thoughts and with their body response when they cut back in order to try and lose weight.
Thank you. You just gave me my tool, my research for, I had so many clients go, I am starving, but I feel hungry all the time. And when you know that the hunger, the actual hunger fullness has been met, and then you're going, well, I know it's emotional in there. And to be able to like give somebody research of like why they could still be, their brain still telling them they're hungry, their hormones are still telling them they're hungry, but their physical needs have been met is priceless, right? Like this is where we just need educated why this diet mentality, deprivation doesn't work.
Yeah, our messages aren't working. And the minute we say, some of us are expert, when the minute we say the word diet, our bodies just like right away, they're like, oh, we're going to low metabolism and we're going to turn on that hunger. There's a lot more research to be done here. I do want to put that disclaimer. Always. But this helps explain a lot. And it helps explain a lot for where I find success in my own life and with the classes that I lead. And I do find a lot of success. Now, not 100%. There's no 100%. And there's no one right mindset. But you need to have a mindset that serves your goal. And if your goal is to be healthier and maybe at a lower weight, then not focusing on the calories and deprivation, but finding foods that you love, that are delicious, that you appreciate, that are whole foods. I'm eating luxurious choices from these farm fresh foods. Just thinking that. It's amazing all the nutrients at the meal. Maybe that's great for you. Maybe, this is just being delicious and it's food that's going to heal you. So finding those, and in my classes, I really encourage people to find foods they love, and what you love and what I love and what Harry loves is completely different. And if you want to turn up the spices, if you want to add a little more sugar, just make it so you love it first. So don't worry about calories or how you've overdone it or blown it, or make it enjoyable and exciting. During my classes, I actually drink water in a wine glass. I do. And it's water, but it's my way. And actually one of my core principles in every class that when I start it is fun. There's 4 principles, but one is fun. You must have fun. You must enjoy this if this is going to be for the rest of your life. Find a way to have it fun. And that's, maybe drinking water in a wine glass. There's all kinds of ways that you can do that, but you've got to make it fun and enjoyable. Put candles on, have a special plate, put music on, invite somebody over. Finding a way that you appreciate the food. And one thing when I do mindful eating is there's 3 things that I teach with mindful. One is to connect with the food, to appreciate it, to take a moment, a pause to say, wow, gosh, I've got all these foods on my plate that have vitamin C or fiber or phytochemicals, or, that's the way I talk, but in my head, you probably, not everybody else does, but just appreciating, wow, this was grown on a farm, picked from a tree, and a car and a truck, landed in a grocery store, produce manager made sure it was sitting pretty, and then I picked it and brought it home. But connecting with the food and then connecting with your body. Am I hungry? Am I angry? Am I bored? Am I, just again, no judgment. And then lastly, enjoying, savoring, actually paying attention to the flavors as it's in your mouth. Connecting with the food can be purposeful in this mindset. Again, it may not work for everybody. There's no one right, but we are destroying food. The word healthy, when you say that word healthy, what comes to people's mind? Boring.
Right, low cal.
Even if they've actually analyzed the descriptions used on 100 of the franchise restaurants, and the ones used for the healthy food items are boring. They're plain.
Yeah.
So, and actually in all my classes, I have names of my dishes are all exciting. Sunrise donuts should be outlawed coleslaw.
That's a mindset, right? It's a mindset to say, and like that's a mindset even in your teaching. I'm going to make it fun. I'm going to make it enjoyable. And that
Yeah.
somebody would want to go, oh, what is that? I'd be curious
So
instead of healthy coleslaw. Healthy.
healthy is like the worst food. And even when I work with marketing, I
Yeah.
usually tell not to use the word healthy. It just
Yeah.
delicious, fun, easy, doable, simple.
Yes. Yes. And it's interesting. I think dietitians have such an advantage. And this is something that, like, to keep training the outside world. You started to mention this, but like, you're very capable of showing up to a food and going, cool, phytochemicals are in here. Or I'll be like antioxidants, or man, we're really getting a lot of carotenoids out of these orange carrots. We have a glimpse at food where somebody could look at a pizza and go, that's unhealthy. And I see red sauce. I see protein out of a pepperoni. That's a challenge actually for all the listeners today, is to take any food that you're looking at and pull, wow, that cheese has calcium. Wow, that meat has protein. That, like, take out the calorie content and see what other fun things you can pull out of it. This is an anti-inflammatory because it has tarragon in it. Like, just run with it. Like, what are some of your other tips like that to help your clients view food and go, this is healthy, even if our society, our culture doesn't tell us that?
Well, I just point out things that a food throughout when I give demos. Quinoa was used to feed warriors and the Aztec culture because it's almost complete. Quinoa is like high in fiber, high in protein and vitamins and minerals. It's really robust as a food go. Or tofu is very bland. That's a wonderful quality because it takes on the flavor of others. And tofu is only 2 ingredients. That's it. It's very minimally processed. That's what I see. I know tofu might be a hard one for your listeners. Things like a sweet potato. Sweet potato has fiber all throughout the fiber, not just in the skin. And it's bursting with antioxidant. Color is any antioxidant is color in Mother Nature, plant kingdom. And sweet potatoes have protein in there that helps with insulin resistance. Yay! Understanding the amazing qualities in the foods, the whole foods that we're eating.
Is such a good mindset shift. If somebody wants to get intentional about how they view their food, Teresa and I are providing that for you right now. Like, this is a great mindset shift for you as well as your whole family. And you were mentioning making food fun. When I was really trying to get the kids around the dinner table, because I remembered this shift of, when they're so little, the idea of sitting around the dinner table, they don't sit long enough. They don't. And I was like, when is that phase of life going to come where we're bringing dinner to the table and we're chilling? And it was coming. And then sports started and then we weren't coming to the table. So I was like, the candles helped a lot. I'll do like seafood dinners where we have the flaming butter dish type things where they can dip crab meat or peel crab or and then I love this one other podcaster. She does these books called To Gather Moments, and you peel stickers and they're conversation stickers, and we'd stick them on our heads, and like everybody has to answer each other's stickers. So it becomes so much more than sitting down eating. It's an experience. And I think that's what you're so wonderful about, Teresa, and your culinary experience. You're giving the education, but more importantly, the experience that somebody can take away and reinvent in their own household. Thank you.
Love that. Love that. Yeah. Just whatever it takes, bring it to life. Food is just amazing and it's delicious. Extra virgin olive oil squeezed from this round olive, bursting with all kinds of stuff that are going to fight and the free radicals in your body. The crunch of cooked oats. So, like oven baked, I make a granola that I put over the top, and nuts. Oh my goodness, nuts are delicious. So many things. So to be appreciative of, you'll see it once you start to like put your lens on, so to speak. So.
Yes, and I think this is where we cringe at the fact of any diet or program taking things out and labeling things bad. Oh my gosh, carbs. Oh, your oats have carbs, Teresa. You can't do that. Your quinoa has carbs, and hold the phone. Let's go back to just nutrients and talk there. So Thank you for this educational experience for our listeners today. I hope that everybody leaves thinking mindset change is going to be important if you want your journey to be sustainable, as well as there's no foods off limits, and we just need to educate ourselves of what and why we care about eating those foods. Is there anything that if we've lost anyone, if you're like, man, if you've tuned out, the one thing I hope and pray that you heard out of today, what would that be?
Mindset matters. It how your beliefs about something, it's not true or false. It's just they matter. They have consequences. So the behavior is important that you engage in, but your mindset too. And we're finding more and more that the combination is synergistic. You can't just think your way. We don't have research that says you can anyway, for a behavior, how you view the lens. And there's so many different ways to view. So it's not one way. So it's not positivity. A lot of times that gets thrown in there. It's more, what is it your goal is and what's going to serve that goal? So if health is on the table for you that you want to pursue, then you have got to find another way of viewing whole foods and enjoying them. And it might take baby steps. Conversations with loved ones, all those people influence you too. Maybe just bringing it out. Maybe they'd love to switch things around. But mindset matters. How you think about your behaviors that are moving you forward towards your goal, that matters.
Yes. And just to give one more example, I feel like yoga was an area for me that I always like to envision myself as being a yoga person, but I have been really having to take these baby steps to keep integrating it into my life. It is not coming natural. And I think I can view that as somebody sitting, at the table too with food. When things don't come natural, it does take small baby steps. And then all of a sudden we become that person at one point. And then we go, wow, I never even realized how I got to that. You're all of a sudden the person sitting at the table with your family, or I'm all of a sudden doing yoga a couple times a week. But that's what Teresa's saying with this mindset matters, is that maybe we need to dream it up and envision ourselves that way. And then we'll take these little baby steps that will ultimately get us to be that person. And then once we get there, we normally envision something else too. So it's a fun journey of constant change and transformation. So thank you for bringing the research to all of this. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, it's an exciting area. I know we'll have more research. We'll never have enough. It's enough to just understand how you view things. And like you said, it is going to be tough in those areas that maybe you've struggled with before. So just, you got to take a step that you believe. You have to believe it for it to sink in and be part of your mindset. So just take that baby step, believe it, and then another and another. And you can even say to yourself, I hope to believe that food is delicious, that is healing for me. So you can just start there.
I love that. It's a process. I'm sure people are loving you. Where is the best place to go get more of your goodness?
Well, the great place to start is at my website, so drteresapangan.com. And I'd love to speak at your next event or workshop or training, and then I also have a course that will have the schedule up in 2024 for those. Those are great places to go.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much for pouring your time and wisdom over Direction Not Perfection community today. We appreciate you.
Thank you, Lindsay. Thank you for the opportunity.